Let's play and review Legacy Dark Shadows. Before I begin this review, I want to tell you something. It's not my intent to play only adventure video games or games made in Croatia. It just, when I was younger, I played a lot of video games, but one of them took my full attention, only to bring me disappointment. Let me introduce you to Razbor Studios, a game developer from Croatia. Although I don't know its exact location, it doesn't matter, because they closed in 2005. It seems they had inspiration from another game development company who made only one game and almost immediately closed their business. But this time Rasbbor actually made more than one game. It was released just 2 years before Legacy Dark Shadows, so I'll assume that there was a way of gaining experience. Now, let me show you that game. Wow, that's one hell of a game! It probably had great graphics and intriguing story, all under a catchy name of Sivko u svijetu boja, or Grey Mouse in a world of colors. Croatian is an easy language to learn. Just imagine its record sales and gaining a lot of revenue. With bigger budget and creative stuff, they made another game even better than the previous one. As I said a few moments ago, this got my full attention, and because of that I was an active member of community forum, where we discuss with developers about game concept, ideas about features, and even test alpha versions of the game. Even to this day, I managed to save copies of the alpha versions, which include tests of moving characters through some locations, some puzzles, interacting with other characters, and of course, tons of bugs. Also, there were articles about the game in some gaming magazines. Unfortunately, I cannot show you our forum posts because game webpage shut down a long time ago. But I can tell you about developers' funny idea how they named one male character. First, they named him by the simple name Jack, and later added surname Black. Jack Black, really? After correcting their decision, they left initials JB and came with a new name, Yevgeny Borisov, a Soviet photojournalist about to discover a dark secret. And that's my story, how did I come across with this game. Now, sit back and relax, let's play and review Legacy Dark Shadows. I still feel kinda disappointed! The game comes on 3 CDs. You probably expect the installation might take a little longer than usual, but in my case it took over 13 minutes to finish. And why is that? Obviously, they did a poor organization of game files, or maybe didn't include a big package file containing all other small ones. Some older CD drives had limited cache memory, and that's why copying a large number of small files can be slower than copying a larger file. You know what? This is a game review, not a hardware review, so you can just ignore this fact. And what did I tell you? Over 6,000 files copied. But let's talk about the game. It opens in 1941 Stalingrad during World War II. After a short conversation between Borisov and Russian soldier and a bit wandering around the trenches, you are threatened to a head-scratching inducing cutscene, at which point you are suddenly catapulted almost 200 years into the future. You start as a private investigator, Ren Silver, going on vacation on Mars, exploring around the colony base, buying some souvenirs and checking for a surface tour. Only a few moments later, we found out that our journalist friend Ted has been kidnapped while researching a story. It's up to Ren and you to discover who'd want to take Ted hostage and why. That's an intriguing story, but we just discovered one of the story's major plot holes. Who the f is Ted? I finished the game twice, searched every corner of the game, but I could not find anything about that Ted. All I know is he or she is a generalist and nothing else. Not even a full name, not a relationship with Ren. So my intention to save Ted was down to zero. I only finished the game because I was interested for other locations. Gameplay is traditional point and click with a third-person perspective. Most actions are accomplished with left clicks of the mouse, directing Ren around the landscape, looking at or picking up various inventory objects, chatting with other characters, while right-click will open Ren's inventory, where you can review her log or take a closer look at current inventory items. The inventory also includes 3 objects essential for any private investigator: a camera, evidence container, and some kind of device Ren uses to unlock doors. These objects have to be used maybe once or twice during gameplay and never again. Unlike other Croatian-made adventures, a double left click will cause Ren to run, most of the time. I could not convince Ren to step up the pace now and then. All subsequent efforts to run were met with a slow walk, like she's afraid to stumble. Legacy puzzles consist mainly of the using the correct inventory item at the proper time or helping various characters you will meet in your travels. Otherwise, you will run into maybe 2 or 3 logic puzzles in the entire game. Speaking of graphics, Legacy is charming old school. Backgrounds are nicely rendered in 2D, with the entire world displaying a bleak post-apocalyptic feel. Flying cars, huge neon signs, dark and gritty landscape, and it always seems to be raining, at least on Earth. There are some models in 3D, mainly of NPC characters. Bad thing is that some of the inventory items blend so well with the static background, so expect some tedious pixel hunting. Luckily, most inventory items can be found not too far from where they are used, so there is not a huge amount of backtracking needed if you suddenly find yourself without a necessary item. According to game readme manual, Legacy's cutscenes are motion captured, but they are also very grainy. Some characters' lips move during conversations, while others just nod their head while they talk. Lip syncing to speech isn't a deal breaker for me, so I pretty much ignored that whole issue. I truly enjoyed the background music. It was low-key and unobtrusive. When I was sitting and trying to figure out what I need to do next, it didn't interfere with my thinking. I actually found myself humming along the Beethoven Fifth while checking out the area's hotel lobby, or just enjoying the serene, 2001 A Space Odyssey-like music, used for the asteroid sequence. Ambient sounds were the usual: Ren's footsteps, as she traveled through the various landscapes, doors and drawers opening and closing, fence wiring, rain on the pavement, and in one location a bird call. And now the moment of truth. Why I gave Legacy such a low gaming score. Ready? Legacy's voiceover is... let me just say it. Bad. Based on the credits, there are only a few of voice actors, which would mean that they did a double duty on the voices. No big deal, happens all the time, right? Well, some of the actors pitched their voices so high they sounded like a cartoon characters. Just hear those two guys.
Mud outside is frozen.
Yes, but the Germans are not accustomed with our weather. Their heavy artillery will be probably frozen whole winter. Russian people are brave warriors, and we shall never be defeated.
What will you do after the war?
I will return to my wife and to my sons. Want to see the pictures?
Нет. I hate kids.
Vodka rules.
Vodka.
Every morning I usually get up at 7 o'clock and brush my teeth. Then I have breakfast and go to school by bus.
Ужас!
In fact, I would say that everyone sounds like it. Well, maybe one character is spared, but more of that later. And what about that strange English accent? I'll try to explain you. The game's voice actors, including myself, are from Croatia, and when we speak in English, we use our national Slavic accent, sometimes lighter with voice training, sometimes heavier, but never without it. That's not a deal breaker for me, so I ignored that whole issue. On the other hand, Ren's voice work was kind of okay. In my opinion, she sounded a lot better in the Alpha 2 version of the game when she gave impression of a crusty person.
Yes, and you are? I'm Ren. Can you give me some information? Okay, give me something to drink. Then I'll have soda. What will open your mouth? A blowjob?
In full version, she speaks in a soft, warm voice, trying to give us ASMR session.
Fruit, small, round, blue, dull.
Strangely, when she talks to other characters, her voice changes to some kind of robotic autotune. You are able to tell when they were recording in a soundproof studio or when they're perhaps standing in a stairwell.
There's no point in going in there without the heavier artillery.
Mix that voice with trying to act other character and you will get a real mockery of the game.
Hi. How dare you, you tramp. You strike me as a very jealous woman. I had no idea the sheriff was married.
I'm not his wife. I'm only his fiancée. For the last 8 years.
What? You've been engaged to him for 8 years? And he still hasn't asked you to marry him?
The hell he is. He's always with some cow like you.
No need for insults, please.
Cow.
Why don't we calm down a little?
You don't look like a burglar to me. I think the lover boy has given you the key. I'll leave. Mary suits him as long as he doesn't find some young tourist. And when he does...
Mary? That's a lovely name.
Don't change the subject, you tramp.
Bye.
And now we come to the technical portion of our game. Legacy have several bug issues. None of them are game killers, but they are really annoying. From time to time, the game will crash to the desktop for an unknown reason, so save your game frequently. Another type of bug will cause audio stuttering for 30 or 60 seconds. After that, it will be normal again.
And what do you think about walks on the surface?
I have to admit I was first staying down here.
Are you telling me you've never been out?
That's making me saying no.
I've been told these worms are incredible.
And then there's a crash to the desktop bug that occurs every time you exit the game. There is a patch for Legacy, but I could not figure out which issue it fixes. Still, the patch does not seem to correct the crash to the desktop bug. Let's make some of this. Older graphics engine, bad voice acting, cliched story and bugs. And that's why I gave a low gaming score. I'm done.
And the sheriff is sleeping alone. Such a big bed, and the sheriff is sleeping alone. What?
You don't look like a burglar. I think the lover boy has given you the key. You don't look like a burglar to me.
In all honesty, Legacy Dark Shadows is a poor attempt to be a next Longest Journey or Siberia type of game. There is definitely room for improvement, but low budget and lack of experience took its toll. If you really want to play this game, try to find it on a band of websites. Otherwise, it's not worth your time. Thank you for watching my video. If you like it, click on subscribe and click on bell icon to receive notification when I upload new videos. Also, check on Twitter and Facebook about news and updates. Thank you and see you again soon.